This is the Orioles POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Baltimore Orioles. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
How fitting is it that tonight, Friday night, marks Game 81 of the Baltimore Orioles 2025 season, and they mark it by starting over, like this first half of the campaign never happened, exploding for their most runs since opening day. Final score tonight, the Baltimore Orioles 22 and the Tampa Bay Rays 8. You did not hear me wrong. Good evening. Happy Friday night. Welcome to the Baltimore Orioles POSTCAST. As always, we are streaming live on YouTube right now at 10:35 on Friday night. And if you're watching next day on demand on YouTube, or if you're listening next day wherever you get your podcasts for free, I want to say hello, welcome. I'm Luke, and I'm your friend. Game 81. The O's previously had scored 12 runs on opening day in Toronto, won that game 12-2. And similarly against a division rival, one with whom they had a very mixed series down in Tampa at that Mickey Mouse ballpark. Lost a couple games that they probably should have won. They roar back from a 6-0 deficit and torch them, absolutely split wide open the Rays bullpen and score 10 more runs than their previous season high. Before we get started, for those watching live right now on YouTube, I see you all filing in. Go ahead, leave your comment. Let me know who your player of the game is. We have many candidates to get through. This is going to be a long episode based on offense alone. Any comments or concerns about the show, go ahead and let me know. This team has been maddeningly inconsistent. Maddeningly inconsistent. And it was imperative that they start the series the right way. You got to fight back. Down in a hole, 6-0. Nothing like some gumption, some composure, and some grit to get this team roaring back.
This is what you'll be talking about.
Ultimate role reversal, right? Think about 10 days ago. The O's have a 97.5% chance to beat the Tampa Bay Rays down in Florida, leading 8-0 in the second inning. Eventually, they lose that game 12-8. In a similar vein, the Rays had a 93% chance of winning this game, leading 6-0 in the second inning. And to make matters worse, right-hander Ryan Pepiot, who had carved up the O's back in Florida, was on the hill, on the bump, trying to extend his Cy Young-esque run on the mound. One of the worst ground ball rates in the league, and 11 days ago had just stuck it to Baltimore. Paired a devastating changeup with a high four-seam fastball and a complimentary slider, and he had the O's out in front and looking foolish. Not tonight, though. Fastball command was all over the place, and it bit him starting in the bottom of the second. Ramon Laureano leads off with a walk. Then Colton Cowser gets a hanging slider, hits it to right field, so you have runners at second and third with no outs. Gary Sanchez able to walk, and then 1 out later, the bases loaded for rookie Kobe Mayo. Gets the party started. 2-2 count on Pepiot. Slider hung just a bit out over the plate, and Mayo hits a double into the left center field gap. Laureano and Cowser score. It's a 6-2 ball game. 1 out later, Ramon Urias pinch hitting for Jordan Westburg. More on that in the second block. First pitch sinker, high and tight, 97, gets his hands around it into left field for a single. Sanchez scores, and Mayo at second base runs pretty well. He scores as well, trims it to 6-4. And just like that, an inning and 2/3 into this game, Pepiot is lifted by Kevin Cash, the manager for Tampa, for left-hander Mason Montgomery. And the O's have already dipped into the Rays' pen 5 outs into the series? Now go ahead and leave your comments in the episode notes or here on YouTube. Is this a case of expanding brain Kevin Cash over managing this game? Because in retrospect, he had to burn pretty much all his bullpen. Montgomery, Orsi, Uceda, Whitley, Gervais, and unfortunately Caballero. So 5 relievers and a position player just to get out of game one on this hazy, misty night in the DMV. Bottom three, Laureano would do damage and lead off walk again, this time against the left-hander Montgomery. Gary Sanchez singles. Laureano then takes off and tries to steal third base. The throw from catcher Danny Jansen is wild, and Laureano scores, makes it 6-5. It's what happens when you put pressure on him. The last 9 seasons, per the Apple TV broadcast, the O's had only one comeback of 6+ runs and won. You have to go back to 2022 against Boston, also a Friday night game on Apple. They were down 6-0 against the Red Sox and ended up winning 10-6. And that brings us to tonight's turning point. Bottom 5, right-hander Eric Orsi on the mound for the Tampa Bay Rays.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
O's down 7-5, and Laureano in the leadoff position again in this frame doubles to the right center field gap. First pitch slider, middle away. He just hits it where it aims. Perfect. Colton Cowser then pulls a splitter inside the right field line for a double, his second of the game, and it's a 7-6 ball game with Laureano scoring. Gary Sanchez then, first pitch hanging slider, belts it over that shortened left field wall, and for the first time, the O's have a lead in this game. From 6-0 to 8-7, Sanchez's 4th home run in 10 games since his return, and all this happening with no outs in the inning. So an 8-7 ball game for the O's, that's all they would get. But don't fear, because they kept tacking on runs. In fact, in each of the next 3 frames, the O's would stick it to the Rays. Bottom 6, Ramon Urias gets hit by a pitch, steals second base, standing up against right-hander Edwin Uceda. Just an incredible jump. They weren't holding him. Big lumbering reliever on the mound. Doesn't look over. Kind of reminds you of the O's a few days ago. Ryan O'Hearn walks. Then Cowser doubles to right field. His 3rd of the game. That is a career high for him. Urias scores. It's 9-7. The team at this point ties its season high for extra base hits in a game with 8. More on that in a second. Gary Sanchez continues his hot streak with an opposite field single, 2-run score. It's 11-7. Sanchez with runners in scoring position this season, 6 for 13 with 2 homers and 15 driven in. Man, that is clutch. And those are career RBIs 500 and 501 for L. Gary. Another 3 spot for the O's, who then take an 11-7 lead. Bottom 7, Forrest Whitley now up, 2 outs. Urias singles to left field. Gunnar Henderson with a nice infield single. A great stop by Junior Caminero at third base, bobbled by the first baseman Jonathan Aranda. O'Hearn walks again. Then Ramon Laureano down in the count 0-1, gets a sinker in at 97, pulled to left field. Urias and Gunnar score on the single. It is 13-8. They do not go gently into that good night. Colton Cowser walks, so you've got the bases loaded for Gary Sanchez, and you start to hear the faithful at Camden Yards go, Gary, Gary. He hits a dribbler to the shortstop. It's bobbled, an E6 by Caballero, Jose Caballero. The inning continues. It's extended, 14-8. Right-hander Paul Gervais is on, not related to the comedian Ricky. Cedric Mullins walks on 5 pitches, a bases-juiced walk, and it is 15-8. The O's bat around in that inning, and no, they would not be done. Talk about a 7 spot in the bottom of the 8th. Jackson Holliday riding an 0 for 5 against Gervais. 3-2 count, gets a slider over the heart of the plate, opposite field tank. It is gone. The future All-Stars, 10th homer of the year. Jackson makes it 16-8. At that point, Kevin Cash has put in 5 relievers for the Rays. None can stop the bleeding. That is when he takes Jose Caballero, the shortstop, and puts him in. They just want to get outs and get out of this inning. But if you're the O's and you have all this pent-up anger, this catharsis looming, just waiting to happen. You've got to torch him. And this was fun to see. Urias promptly doubles. Gunnar sits back on a pitch he likes. He homers to right field, his 9th of the year. It is 18-8. And with 2 outs, Colton Cowser walks. Gary Sanchez doubles to the left field gap to put runners in scoring position. And then Cedric Mullins gets in on the action, doubles to right field for the first time this season, a 20-burger from the O's, 20-8. Leave it to Kobe Mayo, to put an exclamation mark, put his stamp on this rally. First pitch at 62 miles an hour from Caballero. It's in. He cranks a homer with that raw power into the left field stands, inside the foul pole. His first major league home run, 22-8, your final score. Go ahead in the comment section. I see you watching right now. Leave me your comment for player of the game. We're going to reveal it right after the break. 13 2-out RBIs for the Baltimore Orioles on this Friday night. 14 extra base hits. And the O's go 10 for 21 with runners in scoring position. That is a cool 476 at the plate with RISP. The question is, with a team this inconsistent, can they do it tomorrow? Go ahead and leave your thoughts. This is the Baltimore Orioles postcast. Coming up, I mentioned this was a 6-0 game in favor of the Rays. The Baltimore Orioles of yore could have rolled over. They could have gone gently into that good night. They did not. Also, some injury updates as the O's lose Jordan Westburg once again. And that's all coming up after the break. This was probably the game of the season to go to, right? And if you want to get in last minute, Gametime will come in and factor in great. Easiest way to grab last minute tickets without the stress. With the money you save on tickets, you can splurge on food and drinks, get the crab dip on the hot dog, just the way I like it. Gametime makes it possible. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get to first pitch, and they got incredible last minute deals, clear seat views, and a lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying. Gametime has last-minute tickets and zone deals for big savings like 10% off for FIBA Club World Cup matchups. And the exclusive official ticketing partner of Locked On MLB makes it easy to go to these rivalry games. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the code Locked On MLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Choose anyone. Go ahead in the comments. Choose anyone. I will give you my perspective on this. Gary Sanchez reaches in every plate appearance, finishes 4 for 5 with 4 RBIs and 3 runs scored. The only non-hit was that error bobbled by Junior Caballero. Otherwise, he put the O's on top, reached a milestone exceeding 500 career RBIs, and won over the Orioles faithful at the yard. We started to see that. We hear the moos for Colton Cowser. We heard Kobe for Kobe Mayo. 4 RBIs for Kobe Mayo tonight. And he just hits the Mendoza line now, hitting 200, his first career home run. 4 RBIs for Gary Sanchez, 3 RBIs late in the game for Cedric Mullins. Colton Cowser goes 3 for 4 with 3 doubles and 4 runs scored, 2 walks for him. Ramon Laureano, a huge catalyst, scores 4 runs, 2 hits and 2 RBIs and 2 walks. Ryan O'Hearn walks twice but scores each time. Gunnar Henderson 4 for 6 with a triple and a home run. Whew. Ramon Urias in pinch hit duty for Jordan Westburg goes 3 for 4 with 3 runs scored and 2 RBIs. This was an OPS booster. Everyone got in on this action. Everyone contributed in some way in this lineup. All the starters did. Only Ryan O'Hearn with the offer. And even still, able to score 2 runs and contribute to the rallies, able to pass the baton. That is extraordinary. Even Jordan Westburg, who leaves the game early, has a double in his lone plate appearance. And while we're on the subject, we might as well talk about that. Bottom one out. It's a scoreless ball game. Jordan Westburg pounces on a fastball from Ryan Pepio, deflects off Junior Caminero into left field. The third baseman can't get a glove on it, so Westy rounds first, speeds into second base, and he slides head first into the back. You might recall he did the exact same thing at Yankee Stadium, which led to uh, injuring that finger. In fact, it might have been, was it Yankee Stadium? I think it was. It was in one of those road series. It was either that or Tampa, but Westburg was, man, the situation certainly called for it. It was going to be a close play at second. He re-aggravates that left hand. No oven mitt because he's not a base runner at that point. He's just hitting out of the box. He had sprained that left index finger with the oven mitt on. And so the hand is exposed and he slides in head first and he immediately pops up. He's favoring it. Interim manager Tony Mansolino goes out. The trainer goes out. They look at it. And eventually he is lifted for Ramon Urias. It was a good thing for Ramon. He got 3 hits. 3 for 4 day for Ramon. Played some good defense. But man, Westburg, he's got the hustle. He is a power threat at the plate. They need him healthy. And sadly, he leaves the game and his status is TBD. Tomoyuki Sagano had the O's in a 6-0 hole, and yet he wins the game. He earns the win, his 6th of the season. Funny how baseball works. It is a funny game. A perfect top of the first, a perfect top of the third, a clean 5th, and an uggo top of the second, which in other scenarios could have doomed him and doomed this team. Tomo's line, 5 innings pitched, 7 earned runs on 9 hits, a walk, 2 strikeouts, and 3 tater tots given up. We will walk through them. Top second, it's Jonathan Aranda leading off with a cutter low in his wheelhouse, kind of low and in. Nice and juicy spot for a left-handed hitter. 88 miles an hour, and he elevates it into the right field bleachers. It is a 1-0 game for Tampa. And with 1 out, a cutter grooved even higher and meatier to Brandon Lau, this time into the flag court, 2-0. And Tomo may have eked out of this inning. There's 2 outs, though. And he commits the cardinal sin of walking Chandler Simpson, the speedster who it's to be determined how his hit tool really plays in the big leagues. Uncompetitive plate appearance for Tomo. He walks Chandler Simpson on 5 pitches. He promptly steals his 20th base. So you're asking for trouble. Danny Jansen fists a cutter into center field. Simpson scores easily. It's 3-0. Yandy Diaz singles and then a curveball over the plate to Lau. Excuse me here. Josh Lowe homered to make it 2-0. Brandon Lau brings it on home, his 17th home run of the season. That is the first time the Lowe and the Lau tripped me up. 6-0 ball game. Brandon Lau with the 3-run home run. My apologies. I am only human. Tomo's ERA increases to 4.06 on the season. It hadn't been over 4 since his debut, that truncated first start of the season in Toronto where he left with hand cramps. So there's a lot to be figured out, but command was lacking, could not throw strikes, and the cutter left a lot to be desired. Tomo is burnt, and this is a few starts now in a row where it's starting to fall apart for him. Could say the same about tomorrow's starter. Right-hander Zach Eflin has just been smited the last 2 outs, 1 in Tampa and 1 in the Bronx. His ERA now ballooned to 5.46, and he gets the bump tomorrow looking for his 7th win of the season. His counterpart is right-hander Zach Littell. The O's did churn some runs against Littell, 3 earned runs over 6 innings pitched. That is a quality start, but Littell was tagged with the loss in that game 10 days ago against the O's down at Mickey Mouse George Steinbrenner Stadium, Steinbrenner Field, right? Ugh. God, get Tampa a real ballpark. And I'm looking forward to it. The O's surely made this series interesting because they could have very easily rolled over, and they roar back for their most runs scored all season by 10. That's a 4:05 first pitch on Mass, and you can also listen to it on 98 Rock if you are so inclined. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Baltimore Orioles postcast. We got this done in 20 minutes. Man, go ahead, leave your comments. I will be active in the comment section. I'm so excited to get into some O's baseball with you tomorrow. A 20 burger. What? Who saw this coming? This team is just so frighteningly inconsistent. One day they're on top of the world and all cylinders are firing. And then the next, they're fiending for hits. It was, previously 3 of 5 games where they had, been no hit into the 6th inning. What is this team? What do they do? Look forward to your comments. I'm Luke Slabaugh. I love you guys so much. Thanks for tuning in, listening, wherever you may be. Good night. Stay safe. And I will see you right back here tomorrow night.